Talking about the energy walking out of this one. I was just walking by, I saw a random dude, didn't even know him. We both looked at each other, we made eye contact, and we just kind of looked at each other, both shook our heads, and we're just like, it's a nope. Just gotta have Joker 2, the sequel to the first Joker, and Joker Folie. I hope I said it right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I have mixed feelings on the first Joker. I think the first Joker is a bit inspired, though, in what it's trying to do. But for its own Elseworld take, I did enjoy the first Joker. With the sequel, though, it was interesting because they were talking about it being a musical, and that element is in here. There are some moments where it works and some moments where it is exactly what I feared, where it's just music being used for the sake of, I think, padding time. Maybe I'm projecting because there's just the inner Joker and Batman Harley Quinn fan in me. This movie pissed me off. I just can't separate that in this case. Not for this one. Because holy shit, this movie fundamentally to me misunderstands the entire point of the Joker character. The first one has moments where there are Joker hints of it that's really solid, but this one, I'm sorry, I don't know what this movie was going for. That comes in the fact with Harley Quinn as well. I think Lady Gaga has great potential. I think performance-wise, everyone's committed. I respect this movie for having some great set design, some commitment from the actors. Every repetitive as fuck scene that told me the same amount of information that I already knew, that the actors in him were doing great. They were doing great scene work, even though I didn't love the writing of it. But man, I have problems with how this movie completely sidelined Harley Quinn. They really marketed the idea of Harley Quinn and Lady Gaga playing her, and I was so excited to explore that dynamic. This movie had such an opportunity to explore what makes the Joker fucking dangerous, what makes him scary. This entire movie is just victimizing Arthur Fleck. It's an entire movie just telling me to feel bad for him. In this movie, Harley Quinn does more that's kind of scheming towards him than he does to her, and by comparison, and that should never happen. My issue with this movie is Joker's completely in love and falling for Harley Quinn. Can't go too far into it, but the idea that these characters, the way they come together in this movie comes across as completely incoherent to what we know of the Joker and Harley Quinn dynamic to be. I think it's coming from someone who's so sick of the fact that movies just are so afraid to show that, are so afraid to explore that, but there's a reason that it needs to be explored. I remember being 16 in high school when the first Suicide Squad came out, that recut awful like music studio version of that movie, and in that movie Joker's honestly always lusting over Harley Quinn. And what did that do? It sent the wrong message of the idea. I saw plenty of people sharing on social media after the fact, idolizing their relationship. I get it, art is subjective, it's up to the viewer to not misinterpret stuff, but when the movie is only showing that angle, showing that they're in love, miss the point of the fact that the Joker doesn't feel sympathy for people. He would never ever care about Harley Quinn first and foremost. Joker's the abuser, Harley Quinn is a victim of that. This movie completely misunderstands that. In my subjective, humble opinion, to clarify, I hope you enjoy this movie. I'm not trying to shit on you if you do. This movie also it does that thing, and man, several movies I've seen this year, so many that I've had issues with. This one in particular has several plot lines, all of them fighting for the screen, none of them getting time to fully shine. The development between Joker and Harley in this, I think, is rather rushed. It just kind of happens really fast before we're already escalating to the trial of the Joker, but I don't feel either plot line gets enough time to really fully explore the dynamics between the two. And maybe, honestly, that also goes with the fact this movie, I don't think it needed to be a musical, and I love musicals. I'm not against that. I just feel like it needs to be necessary. In this case, it didn't always feel necessary. There are some moments where it is really effective. The contrast of musical numbers, the contrast of the characters in them and what they're feeling. Sometimes it is effective for that, showing off certain character traits. I have to be vague. I just don't want to give too much away. It was odd, because sometimes I did find that anytime a scene would get really captivating, it would cut to a more musical number. It would cut to a moment of people singing. It just wasn't always the smoothest in doing so. That's the issue with a lot of this movie, is a lot of the scenes, a lot of the moments, it's all great scene-like work in terms of visual aesthetic and the acting, but they feel like disconnected scenes. It doesn't always feel like it's fluid in what the story it's trying to tell, really. It feels like sometimes a mic will be dropped for a crazy plot point or something, and then the movie doesn't really do anything with it, or it'll just rush by it. As for Arthur Fleck as the Joker, or just an iteration of him, I guess, there's nothing about him that's a Joker to me. Nothing about him in this movie screams Joker to me. There's nothing in his character other than the fact that he puts makeup on. Like, he did some crimes and stuff, and I get that, but that goes to a deeper issue with the fact that Todd Phillips didn't want to make a movie about a comic book character like the Joker, who is this fully apathetic, evil son of a bitch. Todd Phillips makes something about an isolated person with just the idea that we're sneaking a character drama into a comic book movie. The fundamental flaw with that is the mentality that comic book characters are below that. I think that's my problem with this movie, is it's one of those case in points where if you're gonna make something that is adapting a character who is known with this stuff, treat it as equal footing. Because the Joker's a comic book character doesn't mean the interesting stuff about him makes him any less profound. He's not below being profound. Not him, the character, but like the writing of the character, what he means in terms of showing the dangers of evil, the dangers of apathy. This one in particular, this movie comes across like they're making something completely different, and it's just like they're being forced to throw the DC IP onto it. That's not at all what the case is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's how the movie feels. It doesn't feel like it's really trying to tell anything Joker-esque, even down to the Harley Quinn dynamic. Harley Quinn is such an important role in showing the case in point that Joker is evil. She is a victim of the things he's done. Like I said, yeah, this movie's kind of repetitive in its pacing. A lot of the writing to me is very on the nose, like the first one, but even more so here. And the writing's not always the smoothest in that. I do feel like this movie is rather repetitive in how it wants to present its information and what's going on. A lot of the time it is just going back to the fact that it'll go to a musical number of them singing about each other. But I'm not learning anything new in those musical numbers. I feel like you need more to a musical number than just throwing one in there to have it. As for the ending, the third act, nope. Like, that was where I was drawing the line. I was like, this movie is just unfulfilling. And if I think this movie's insinuating what I think it is in the ending, the very last few moments, fuck that. That's all I have to say about that one. That is just, no. I thought the ending came across as rushed, cheap, and just straight up unfulfilling. I didn't expect to be this disappointed by the Joker sequel. I really didn't. Maybe if you're less attached to these characters from the lore and stuff like that, maybe you're less attached to certain dynamics from the comic book counterparts, you will enjoy more about this movie. For me, even looking at it as a movie fan for myself, I felt like this movie was inconsistent in what it wanted to be. It didn't really know where it always wanted to go. This one didn't do it for me. Ugh, man. Damn it. I hope you enjoyed the Joker sequel though. I'm gonna maybe make a longer video about it because I can't really get into spoilers in here. But spoiler-free thoughts, that's what I think. Fuck. Thank you for watching Scattered Reviews. I'll see you next time.